Hey, what's up, guys? It's Mike over at Martin's Exotics. Figured we'd go ahead and make one of these little question and answer videos. Since over on Facebook we posted asking you guys to go ahead and send your questions in, and we'd make some videos and answer them to get started on these video project ideas. So I got a couple questions here. Go ahead and answer them real quick. First one being about leopard gecko temperature requirements. Basically, overall, you want the ambient temperature in the tank to be the low to mid 80s, with the temperature on the hot side being like 88 to 91. A little bit lower is alright, a little bit higher is okay too. You definitely don't want to get as hot as 100 degrees and whatnot, because then you start running the risk of cooking your animal and killing them. When you get the temperature too low, though, you start to have problems with them digesting their food right, them going off of their food, weakening their immune system. Then they start to become more susceptible to illness and whatnot. So you definitely want to keep an eye on your temperature. Make sure you got it, like I said, the overall ambient temperature, the low to mid 80s, with the hot side being like 88 to 91. Then I kind of had an ongoing conversation about this question with the person that asked, so I'll go ahead and kind of touch on it a little bit. They were asking why their gecko was vomiting the food. Well, there's a number of reasons for it. Impaction, parasites, not digested food, so temperature. If you're using sand, you could have a full to partial impaction going on, so you definitely want to get your animal off of the sand and onto like a paper towel or reptile carpet, whatnot. And then you would have to go ahead and treat it for the impaction. As far as finding out if maybe it's a parasite, you would have to, do a fecal analysis, take it to the vet, whatnot. And this time of year, it's kind of natural for them to kind of burminate themselves, no matter what the temperature is. Their metabolism will slow down, so they're not processing the food as fast, so therefore they're not going to be as hungry. There is a lot of factors that go into it. It could even just be something as simple as stress. If they're not eating, and you're feeding them mealworms, you could try crickets, whatever. There's a number of different ways to go about trying to spark that feeding response. We can go into that a lot more in a separate little video. As far as the next question goes, is leopard gecko breeding easy, and how did I get into breeding? Well, I've kept reptiles kind of on and off for, years growing up and whatnot. And, a few years ago, the interest started sparking about breeding and, getting into it. So I've always been intrigued by leopard geckos and, keeping them and whatnot. So I kept them for a while, more, more continuously. More and more, and as I was keeping them, I got a couple babies, raised them up, and did a lot of research. Research is actually the biggest part of it. Is knowing what you're gonna come into, what you're gonna be dealing with. As far as are leopard geckos easy to breed? Yes and no. As far as putting them together, overall, they are probably one of the easier reptiles to breed. It doesn't really mean that everybody should do it. You definitely gotta put a lot of time into it. You gotta make sure you do your research, because then you got a lot of things that can happen as far as egg binding and problems with your females and such. And after that, you got a bunch of babies. You got to do the incubation, then you got a bunch of babies, and you got to make sure you can find a house for them. So it takes a lot of time, to handle, clean, care for, and sustain your colony and your collection. and then you're easily going to put the extra time into rehousing the babies and whatnot. So yeah, it is a process. It's easy as far as some reptiles go. I mean, there's not the complex things you got to do to get them to initiate breeding. Leopard geckos, you pretty much sustain them. They cycle through, and there you go, and you're ready to go. I'm planning on doing a video here in a couple weeks, as soon as breeding season really gets going here, explaining the whole process. So we'll get into that more when we get to that video. The last question I got is basically asking, what's the difference between buying an animal from a breeder and from a pet store, which is better? Well, when you buy from a breeder, you've got somebody that's actually, as long as it's a good reputable breeder, you got somebody that's really taking the time to take care of the animals. Really knows the animal, knows what they're selling you. They're going to be upfront and tell you exactly what they're selling you. They're going to make sure that the animal that you're getting is healthy and is going to thrive and is off to a good start. The biggest thing that they're selling you is a live, healthy animal. I mean, when you go to the pet stores, yeah, the animals may look decent. You never know exactly what's there. I mean, I've gone in and I've seen animals that really look like they're on the verge of dying. I'm not knocking the pet store. I'm not saying that they don't sell good animals. I mean, I know A, from selling what I breed, and B, from buying from other breeders, it's actually a lot better, more beneficial going that route. Because like I said, you know exactly what you're getting. You know exactly, that person, as long as they're reputable, is going to tell you exactly what it is. It's going to be clean, it's going to be healthy, and you're going to be off to a much better start. Without getting into too much of a rant, that's going to take care of this video. Like I said, I'm going to try and get a couple more videos up this week. Besides that, thanks for watching.